There's an entire industry that most people have never heard of, even though millions of people use it every single day. And that's the industry I work in. The funny thing is, I'm always telling people they should consider a career in LMS work because honestly, it's an amazing industry to be a part of. But then, after a few failed attempts, I realized something. That advice probably isn't very helpful when most people have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. So today, I thought I'd fix that. Bear with me, there will be no technical explanations. Hey, this is Smaragda. Welcome back to I Had Plans. If you like what you hear, make sure to click that follow button. Let's go. You know those jobs where the title tells you exactly what someone does? Teacher, doctor, dentist. You hear the job and you instantly understand it. My job is not one of those. It's not that it's special, though it is to me. It's just that it's a bit technical. In fact, one of my first podcast episodes was exactly about this topic. It's called What Do You Do for Work? And the funny thing is, it's still a question that causes a lot of laughter or blank stares. If you ask my family or friends what I do, you'd probably hear something like, she pushes buttons, she works on the internet, she makes websites and courses, and that's about as detailed as it gets, because that's enough for them. And honestly, if I tried to explain the latest cool feature in a learning management system, or the amazing workflow I built for a client that finally made sense of their complex learner journey, they'd probably be bored to death. So in some ways, it's great for them that they don't know what I do, but not for me. Because when you work from home and you don't have colleagues around you, there's not always someone to share that excitement with. So today, I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Today, I'm going to explain to you, my audience, one part of what I do, LMS consultancy work. The other big part of my work is learning design, but that's definitely a topic for another episode. Now, who knows? By the end of this episode, you might even think, well, that actually sounds interesting. Because here's something most people don't realize about this industry. A lot of us are self-taught, just like me. There isn't always a clear degree or pathway into this work. Most people get into it by being curious, experimenting with technology, and learning how to troubleshoot problems. So let's start with the basics. An LMS stands for Learning Management System, is essentially a platform where learning is accessed, learning is sometimes created, and learning is managed. And organizations use them to deliver training, courses, professional development, and more. Now, when it comes to working with an LMS, there are lots of different job titles. You'll hear things like LMS administrator, LMS developer, LMS consultant, LMS manager. There's so many. And each role can involve a slightly different mix of skills, and we all have our areas of expertise. Some people focus more on the technical side, others focus more on the course creation or the user experience. But a lot of the time, the truth is we do a bit of everything. I enjoy the admin side of things. I get to make sure teachers and learners have a smooth experience when using the LMS. But don't let the title LMS admin fool you. This isn't regular admin work. There's a lot of problem solving involved and a lot of creativity sometimes. Another thing I really love doing in my area of work is training people on LMS platforms. I just wait for that aha moment the learners have when they finally understand how amazing the LMS platform they're using is and that they can actually use it now. My favorite platform is Moodle. If you follow me, LinkedIn or social media, you probably already know that because I never stop talking about it. However, it's not the only platform I work on. Now, I keep saying LMS and platform and things like that, but if you're not very technical, think of it as a website for learning, a website with a lot more features. Another thing I love doing in my work is setting up a platform from scratch. This always starts on paper, designing the user journey from signing up to logging in to accessing their profile and accessing their courses and their learning. The next step is setting up the structure, customizing roles and permissions, branding the theme so that it feels like a part of the organization, and of course, then training people how to use it. It's a really interesting mix of technology, design, problem solving, and it's a lot of fun. Automating processes is an exciting part of the LMS features too, because you're able to find ways to make systems talk to each other so that organizations can save time and reduce manual work. Whenever there's a way we can reduce manual admin, everyone gets excited. Now, another element of my work that I actually really enjoy is troubleshooting, most of the times anyway. When something breaks, it becomes a puzzle, and solving the puzzle is incredibly satisfying. It could be something as simple as the user's browser is outdated or they're entering the wrong password to you've discovered a bug in the system. Now, one of, I think, the most exciting parts of my work is migration projects. So moving from one LMS to another. And this could be because of pricing, because of features. There's a lot of reasons why an organization might migrate to another LMS. It's funny, a recruiter I was talking to the other day about some contract work was surprised when I actually said, I enjoy migration projects. And she just laughed and said, well, each to their own. We all know it's hard managing change and managing people going through change. But there's something about migrations that I find really satisfying. You take something messy and complicated, and sometimes this is years of courses and data, and you carefully move it into a brand new system. Now, what's great about these is you can make sure that everything is structured properly, that everything works, and that the users can access their learning and the reporting still makes sense. So it's a great challenge. And when it's done properly, the new system, it just works better. And it gives me a lot of satisfaction and hopefully to the users too. Now, the terminology LMS or learning management system might be new to you, but something people don't realize, what I said at the beginning, is how widely LMS platforms are used. They're everywhere, from large universities and multinational organizations to very small training providers. During the pandemic, I set up a little Moodle platform for a dog grooming academy. Of course, just the theoretical part. So you can imagine how flexible these platforms are, that they can be adapted and customized to any size organization and to a range of needs. And that brings me to something I want to try with this podcast community. I've mentioned sometimes that working from home can be isolating. So here's a thought I've had. I've been thinking about setting up some body doubling co-working session with this podcast community. If you haven't heard of the term before, body doubling is when people work alongside each other on a call and everyone focuses on their own tasks. They check in every now and then to keep each other accountable and motivated. But there's another reason I want to try this. If you're curious about this industry or thinking about moving into learning technology or LMS work, this could be a really interesting way to see what the work actually looks like. The real version, the behind the scenes, the troubleshooting, the building courses, the distractions with urgent problems, the testing things, fixing things, trying to fix things. I'll probably be inside an LMS somewhere, pushing the buttons, as people say. You'll get a real sense of what this kind of work actually involves. And you can also share details about the industry you work in if you like. Because working alone doesn't mean you have to work in isolation. And who knows, we might even learn something from one another along the way. Or you might even discover a career you didn't know existed. That's all for now. I'll talk to you again next week.